mean, this could turn on Lafferty as well. You know, sometimes a change of opponent can mess you up, especially when you've worked on tactics.
Pretty sure he's done various martial arts. Oh, big right hand from Lafferty.
Oh, Lafferty goes to work.
Oh, in the body, and he's knocked him out the ring.
Body seconds of the round.
Jab there from Lafferty.
Yeah, good shot from Lafferty.
Oh, what a shot. I'm ready, now he comes again. He's calling him on. I mean, that's good.
That's the worst thing you could do with Lafferty. Bags of experience, he's game as you like, he'll fight all night.
And he's saying to him, hit me, see if you can hurt me. No, you can't. Another great body shot from Lafferty. Oh, he's caught him again. And again, oh, what a shot.
Down it goes. I think it was a little sneaky bit on there.
Take the 18 count. There's bravery in the stupidity.
Yeah, and that's
take the count.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Patriot Show. I'm your host, Anthony Stephen Malone. Today I have a very special guest on the show, Tony Lafferty. He's a BKB bare knuckle fighter, also a military veteran. He's come on the show to speak about his experience as a veteran transition and the training he does as a BKB fighter as well. Hello Tony, how are you doing, soldier?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you getting on?
Good man, as good as always, mate. Right, can you tell my viewers who don't know you a little bit about your background in the military?
Yeah, of course. Well, my name's Tony the Tiger Lafferty. I'm as you said before, I'm a Scottish BKB fighter. I spent from a young age in the military, so I joined the military when I was 17. I wanted to join when I was 16, but my mum wouldn't let me. But yeah, I joined the 1st Battalion, the Argyll and Southern Highlanders, which I served 9 years in the regiment. I was a corporal within the regiment, and I was medically discharged in the 21st of November 2013 through medical grounds, through noise-induced hearing loss, through head of cape, through gunshots and explosions, the usual. So yeah, so it was a medical discharge for myself. So that's my military background, yeah, and then obviously after that I kind of transitioned into the boxing, bare knuckle boxing side of things.
Okay, obviously you're very big into positive mindset, overcoming things. How did you find the transition personally from being in the military, the services, over into civilian straight?
To be honest, I really struggled, I mean, I know for a fact there's guys out there that struggled a lot worse than me, but I find that as a whole, it's quite a difficult experience because the military, as I've said many times before in interviews, the military are quite good at making you a soldier, but they're not very good at making you a civilian again once they've had their use and once you're transitioning into civilian life. So I think for me, it was a massive, especially as you know, the military regiments kind of hit home a lot about it being family regiments, about being one as one, you know. So I think for me it was more of I felt kind of neglected to a certain degree because it was one of them, you know yourself. I mean, I literally woke up. There was no, you expect a parade, you know, you expect handshakes and slaps on the back and you just don't get it. I literally woke up on the 21st of November and I packed my bags and I literally just swaggered out of camp. I mean, nobody even collected my army ID cards, you know. So I think for me it was a big shock because I felt a big safety net within the regiment because to a certain degree you're institutionalised. Whether you do 2 weeks or you do 22 years, you're institutionalised because they break you down as an individual. You know better than most. They break you down as an individual and then they build you up to be the soldier, you know. Yeah. So when you get that medical discharge after 9 years, you don't really get that support element. You get the 4 day CV course in Aldershot, I call it Aldershot, where I done my PTI course, but you get that, but you pretty much spend the full days just fucking about with your mates, talking shit and having a laugh. Yeah. It doesn't really, you don't grasp the realities of what you're going into. So I think for me it was a big shock, especially because I kind of felt used. I felt that my services were no longer required. and there wasn't really a support element there. So I found it really hard. I spent a good 2 years just not having a clue what my purpose in life was. Kind of felt dropped by the regiment, who had literally given my life to. You know, I was willing to die for the regiment. And nothing against the regiment. I mean, to this day, I'd go back and I'd still die for the regiment. But I think it's the military and the MOD as a whole. They just don't really have the resettlement capabilities. I mean, they don't really they don't get the boys into civilian life very well. So I think for myself, I struggle quite bad with alcohol. Is a big one for me, drinking. Just very, very lost for a long time, you know. And again, that leads, which we're going to talk about, that kind of leads on to the boxing and the BKB, and that kind of gave me the purpose in life that I'd lost when I got kicked out of the military, you know.
I think that's what it was. I think you went from civilian environment or military environment over into civilian straight, and then you felt a little bit not sure of where you were, your purpose and that. But with you going into the training for the BKB and everything that is included in that as well, it's like another little family. It's like, and it gives you the focus as well. I think you found a lot of benefits out of that. Can you speak to the viewers about how you came across BKB? Because it's an up and coming sport in England now, isn't it?
Yeah, big time, man. Well, it was actually, I was boxing. I trained as a boxer, amateur boxer, for about a year before I joined Argyll, just to get fit.
Right.
And then once I got to the regiment, obviously you get on the swally, so I never boxed for the regiment. But once I got out, it was one of them. Always wanted to box, as you do. You wanted to kind of test yourself to a certain degree. Yeah. You want to get in that ring and see if you've got it, you know. And then I remember saying to my mate, because we just came back down to Kent, actually, where I'm at just now. Funnily enough, I'm back to the same place where I started. But and I googled the closest boxing gyms to me, and I found Fight and Fit Boxing Academy in Dover, which is where that's always been my home gym. And then I just swaggered in one day, and Wayne Morley, the owner of the Fight and Fit Academy, was there, and I just says, "Listen, I really would like to try boxing, mate. Is there any chance?" And yeah, he was like, "Right, you've had a bit of boxing experience." He put me into the ring to spar with a couple of the good lads in the gym, and I held my own, you know. And he was like, "Listen, I've got an unlicensed semi-pro, whatever you want to call it, unlicensed boxing show, the UKBC in Kent, and they're probably one of the top semi-pro boxing shows in Kent, you know what I mean?" So I just went into that, and I just got into the unlicensed boxing scene, really. And I won 3 titles. I was a British champion, international champion, and inter-county champion. So I think it was the discipline that I lacked. You know, I had that in the military, and I've always said I excelled in the military through the discipline. I'm a typical soldier. I love the discipline. And when I've got structure and discipline, I've got control in my life.
Yeah. And
that is a major thing for me, you know. And when I got out of the military, I lost that discipline, and my life just went fucking haywire a wee bit, and I kind of lost that control.
Yeah.
When I got into boxing with Wayne, it just gave me all that back, and it gave me that military style discipline that I needed to flourish, you know.
Yeah.
And there was actually a guy in the gym called Craig the Hammer Aimer, who was a BKB legend. I mean, bare knuckle was already a thing, you know what I mean? Jim and Joe, the owners of BKB TM, had already kind of started, and it was growing slowly, you know. I hadn't quite boomed yet. But it's one of them. As a soldier, I think you always want to be the top dog, eh? You always want to test yourself, you know. And then I seen these guys doing the bare knuckle, and I thought, fuck me, man. Because MMA is bad enough with the gloves on, but if you take the gloves off, it's a whole other story, man. And I thought, well, that's not me, man. Especially with my style, I'm quite an aggressive forward fighter anyway. And I thought, yeah, that's a bit of me. And then Wayne and Craig spoke to the owners of BKB, because you actually needed a pro record to step into that world. They kind of expected pro fighters. Yeah. I'd only ever done the unlicensed scene, so they put in a good word for me. And then, it went for there. They gave me a chance. It was because they used to sponsor smaller shows, and they gave me a shot on one of their smaller shows. The show ended up getting cancelled because I think there was a lot of background problems with, like, I think there was like gangsters. There was going to be a bit of a turf war at these shows, as you can imagine. Back in the day, bare knuckle, when it was first starting, it kind of used to attract certain characters. But so the full show got pulled because the police got wind of this, something that was maybe going to happen in the crowd. So the show got pulled, but then luckily one of the fighters pulled out of one of the main BKB shows at Coventry, and he just phoned me up and says, listen, I've had a pull out, you fancy having your shot? And yeah, I knocked the guy out in the first round, and then it's ever been since for there, yeah. And obviously after that, that's when they got the O2 contracts, and we've been at the O2 Arena ever since. Yeah. And yeah, I've been quite loyal with the company ever since. It's just kind of been for there, you know.
That's good. They've given you the chance, didn't you? Like they get in the ring and doing stuff.
I mean, one thing the military teaches us is, you know, is loyalty. You know, so I'm quite loyal to Jim and Joe, because I wouldn't be a pro fighter if it wasn't for them at the end of the day. So yeah, and then the top, I think the best bare knuckle company in the world, to be honest. So I'm pretty buzzing to be a part of it, to be honest.
Well, it is great to see you. If anyone hasn't seen any of your fights,
oh, you're in for a good time, man.
Where can they find them?
You can go on YouTube. Just type in my name, Tony Lafferty, BKB TM. We're actually, I think now they just got a new contract in America, so we're televised in Fox and ABC in America. I think it's 52 countries. I might be wrong. Don't quote me.
Yeah,
but there's 50 odd countries we're televised in. It's all pay-per-view. If you've not seen it, there's pretty good chance you'll see the fights pretty soon. If not, go on YouTube and just check out some of the guys, man. It's proper good.
I would recommend anyone who enjoys watching fighting, the actual sport as well. It's from a technical point of view, it is very good. So I would, if you get the opportunity, have a look at YouTube, and over the coming couple of years, you're going to be seeing a lot of it on the television.
To be honest, but I mean, it's pretty soon we're going to be in living rooms all across the country. It's growing rapidly, definitely.
Oh God, yeah. Can you explain to some of my viewers, because a lot of my viewers will have heard of the boxing, kickboxing, where you got all the pads on and that, but obviously fighting in the ring without the pads, totally different kettle of fish. Can you explain to me viewers a little bit about that, please?
Of course, man. As like I said, I came from an unlicensed boxing, semi-pro boxing background, so I was used to the 10-ounce gloves. But once you take the gloves off, it's a whole different kettle of fish. And I think that's why there's so many people that are falling in love with the sport of bare knuckle boxing. It's nothing new. Boxing started off as bare knuckle. So it's kind of going back to the grassroots of the sport, and it's such a beautiful thing, you know, because I mean, I've been offered pro contracts as a glove fighter. I mean, when I was in the unlicensed scene, when I was breaking the bare knuckle, but I've never been interested in that, because I think, it's not just me personally. I mean, I've spoke to a lot of guys, and I think the glove scene's getting flooded with money. It's all that. You know what I mean? And I think there's so many. I mean, I've no dish. I mean, I respect journeymen so much. I mean, the sport of boxing was built on journeymen. I've got a lot of good pals that are journeymen, and really the great guys are absolute animals. But I think it's a different type of fighting when you look at a bare knuckle fight, because I mean, your wraps are pretty much your thumbs wrapped, but then from there downwards it's wrapped, so your knuckles are completely bare. Yeah. And it's a whole nother kettle of fish, because you're susceptible to splits, cuts, breaks are a common thing. I mean, I'm breaking fingers, you're getting a broken nose every fight, you know what I mean? And because it's such a brutal sport, there's none of that shit, like riding punches on your gloves. You've not got time for that, because if you're taking punches in your hands are breaking, you know? So it's a hard, fast, aggressive sport. And so you've no choice but obviously there's technical aspects there, you know what I mean? There's guys, Jimmy Sweeney, BKB King, you know what I mean? You've got Ricky Franco, the top boys like that. There's a lot of skill and technical ability in the sport, you know what I mean? Which is really good. But at one point or another, you're standing in the middle of that ring and you're going fucking toe to toe. And there's no ways about it, you know? And I think that's why people love it, because it's hard, fast, aggressive, there's blood. People are getting knocked unconscious, and at the end of the day, it goes back to the gladiator days. People love violence. At the end of the day, know what I mean? And that's the way it is. It's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, it can be. Some people are going to think it's a brutal sport, but it is in a ring, in a confined.
Oh God, yeah, apologies. Yeah, sorry, I never.
There is rules. I obviously I know the sport, but I'm thinking of like other people who were watching.
Oh yeah, sorry. I never went any detail.
It is organised.
But basically, yeah, it's the exact same rule set as a boxing. So you've got the boxing ring, but it's actually a smaller boxing ring, and that's obviously to encourage people to fight. The only differences in rule set is rather than a 10-second standing count, you get a 20-second standing count, and that's obviously due to the fact that you can get knocked on your arse a lot more.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same rule set. So breaking when you don't. I know the American rule set is different. You can actually hold the back of their head and uppercut, but we don't allow that in the UK. It's very, very traditional boxing. Yeah. And the only difference is there's no gloves. You know what I mean? And obviously the 20-second standing count. But it's the exact same rule set. Jim and Joe have really brought in, I mean, it used to be very, very different, but BKB and Jim and Joe have brought in the medical cover, the doctors ringside, the ambulance, these are by the fire escapes, insurance. I mean, the quality of the shows is unreal. I mean, you walk in that O2 arena and you think you're going to watch Billy Joe Saunders, you know what I mean? It's quality stuff, you know what I mean?
I think that's what people, a lot of them haven't seen any of this yet. And I
think
when they do see it, they're going to be taken back because it's organised, put together, professional.
100%.
The fighting's professional.
Yeah. I mean
it's a whole different thing now.
Oh yeah, a lot of these boys are professional Muay Thai fighters, professional glove boxers, professional kickboxers. They're all high-level athletes, but it's just the way it is. You know what I mean? I think it's taken over MMA as the fastest-growing combat sport in the world. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely just back to the grassroots, and it's just a whole nother level. It's just, I think, as a fighter, the big difference for me is it's the adrenaline, it's the pain. It's definitely the pain game, and I think that's what it kind of sorts them in for the boys to a certain degree. I mean, we've had gloved fighters that have came into the sport because they're very talented boxers, very skillful glove boxers. They come into the sport and they look at guys like me. I mean, I'm an aggressive brawler. I'm an aggressive come forward fighter. It's funny. I'll take one to hit you with 5. You know what I mean? Yeah. But a lot of them will come into the sport thinking I'm going to run rings around a lot of these BKB fighters. But as soon as you get hit in the nose, hit in the jaw with bare knuckles is a whole nother level. It's all about, it's a mental sport. It's all about blocking out the pain, and that's what really cements for the boys, you know.
Yeah, no, it is. It's very different, but it doesn't matter what sport you do. Respect to anybody who gets into a ring. It's
100%.
Yeah,
and I think that's it's such a good community, and I think that's what I love about the sport. We've got guys from all these different backgrounds. Like I said before, I mean, you've got Jimmy Sweeney, boxer, Rico Franco, MMA, Sean George, who was kickboxing. You've got Toby Binden, Muay Thai. These are high-level athletes, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just a camaraderie, you know what I mean? And I never noticed that with glove boxing. I think a big glove boxing is a lot of bravado. Yeah. I think with bare knuckle, you don't really get that. And we're all one big family, you know, I think, and that's quite a good thing for the sport. But 100% big. I'm a big fan of combat sports as a whole. Personally, I've got a big passion for Muay Thai and Lethwei. So any man that steps in any form of a ring or a cage, I've got massive respect. I mean, I'm a big ambassador for combat sports, especially for ex-servicemen. You know.
Yeah, you picked up on the word there. The people who take part in this are athletes. They train, and they train hard. There's no shortcuts or anything with this one. If you're going to get in the ring and do this, you need to be fit and you need to be dedicated to what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and lie. I've learned the hard way. You know what I mean? I've went in that ring. But again, this was where, when I got out of the military, like I said before, my life, my fighting style kind of reflected my lifestyle and my mentality. When I got out of the army, I was a bit wild, you know what I mean? But I think that you mature as a person, you mature as a fighter. I mean, now, I do 12-hour night shifts. I'm in the gym before work. I do a 12-hour night shift. I'm doing a 9-mile run after my shift. I'm fucking in the gym before, after. I mean, you need to be especially in bare knuckle, man, there's no room for mistakes, because my face is a picture paints 1,000 words, and I've got some photos where my face has just been, you can't play in this game, you can't play in any combat sport, because it's not football, it's not cricket, you can get hurt, you know what I mean? But I think that's a good thing. I mean, it forces a lot of discipline in a person. I mean, it's done me the world of good, you know. It really has sorted my life right out, to be honest, after the military, and so it's all good, man.
About the training, what sort? I know they've a lot of my viewers would have had a bit of experience in doing some kind of training for a variety of sports. For your particular sport, can you give us an example of the sort of training you do towards the fight, then some training you do before the fight as well?
Well, for example, I'll tell you about me just now. I'm fighting in June, which is the first crowd show for BKB. At the moment, it's behind closed doors. So at the moment, myself and my coach, we're just working on cardio. So it's all cardio, shadow boxing, just getting the little drills, skills and drills, as they say, innit? And it's just cardio, get myself nice and fit. And then the middle of my training camp is going to be more of the technical aspect. So it's going to be pad work, bag work, again, skills and drills. We'll step up the sparring. A lot of it is just hit training. Hit training is a big one for boxing, because like I says, it's quite a fast, aggressive sport. The most rounds that you can do in bare knuckle is 7 rounds. So as a new fighter to BKB, you'll do 3 rounds. And then once you get a little bit more experience, they'll step you up to a 5-round fight. And British title fights will always be over 5 rounds. And then once you step up to world title level, it's going to be 7 rounds. Whereas glove boxers are used to doing the 12. You don't get that in bare knuckle, because 7 rounds in bare knuckle is bad enough. I mean, you're going to come in. Yeah, your face looks like a butcher's chopping board after 5, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of hit training, a lot of technical skills and drills. That's mainly what it is, really. You know what? It's just bog standard, basic boxing, skills and drills, cardio and technical ability. And also, what you need to consider as well is you've not got 8 or 10 ounce gloves protecting your wee mittens, you know what I mean? So you need to do a lot of conditioning for your knuckles and for your hands. Yeah. So things like bag work with your wraps on, press ups on your knuckles, and also get a bucket of sand or rice, whatever you want. Sand, I think sand a bit better. Yeah. And just forcing your hand into the sand and squeezing it. Also, I've got a training aid which I put inside my wraps, and then that just kind of helps the structure in my fist when I'm on the bag. So anything you can do just to strengthen the ligaments, the tendons in your hands. Because obviously when you go in that ring and you start dropping bombs that you're fucking in Baghdad, that's when things start breaking, you know what I mean? So hands take a lot of punishment. So the best thing you can do, look after your hands before a fight and wrap up your hands very, very well. And also everything I do with 16-ounce gloves on, because you need to protect them. Because I've had 6 bare knuckle fights now, so I'm 4-2. And I'm breaking hands every fight. You know what I mean? So you really need to look after the money makers, if you know. Yeah,
it's your thing, isn't it? It's important. These are what matter in the ring anyway. So
definitely. Another thing I've just started incorporating now is again, it all goes back to the military training, man, is running with boots and getting a Bergen on my back and just going for a good tab, running my weight. You know what I mean? It's just it's all mental. I mean, I learned that for the military. Combat sports is all mental. It's all about, and if you notice, if you look at the BKB roster, I mean, if you look at Smudger, you look at Paul Shit, a lot of the guys that flourish in the bare knuckle world are soldiers. You know what I mean? Because personally, I think we're built differently and we're made differently to a lot of these people. And I think that's what gives us the edge, especially in bare knuckle boxing, you know. I was going to mention that.
A soldier's already got the ability to walk into a fight anyway. You're already trained. So you're not phased by it. You want to get in the ring. You want to see if you can be pushed as well. The harder the opponent, the better. I mean,
yeah, I mean, after I remember I fought Tyler Goodjohn. He's actually he was world champ. He's across America now. And I remember he said to me after the fight, and he was like, does it no worry you? Like, because the fight was, you should watch that fight. If you're going to watch that fight, me versus Tyler Goodjohn, that was a good fight. Right. And I said to him, I says, like, this doesn't fucking worry me, mate. It's when you've started dodging RPGs and bullets, a fucking punch I do not think twice about a punch. I really don't care. I mean, it's that edge that the soldiers have, I think, in combat sports that really gives you that extra push, you know.
I think it is. I think it's where normal people, or say normal, that is the wrong word, where some people would normally take a step back.
Yeah.
We don't. We take 2 steps forward. And it's just part of us.
Yeah. And I think that's in bare knuckle, that's the difference between BKB and glove boxing is, I mean, I've done it where I had 10 glove fights, you know, and the difference, I'd never have another glove fight, because see, when you're in a bare knuckle fight, you're going to be in the trenches, you're going to be fucking balls deep in the trenches every single fight, and that's the difference. That's why some glove fighters they don't really like bare knuckle, because they've never been, I don't give a fuck how good a boxer you are. If you're not prepared to go into the trenches and fucking feel the pain and feel the hurt, then you don't belong there. And that's the difference. I thrive in the trenches. I fucking love it. I love being in a bare knuckle fight because I'm very comfortable there. I've been in situations a lot worse than that. Yeah. So to me, I mean, and I think that's where, I think maybe why I gravitated towards a bare knuckle, because that, you know yourself, that buzz that you get when you're in an operational environment, and that feeling that you get, you can't duplicate that anywhere else.
Yeah, it's one of those strange things. Once you've experienced being in the ring, being hit with gloves is one thing. Being hit without gloves, very different.
Definitely.
Hitting as well. Hitting with gloves is also very different. With hitting without as well. Obviously, I've been hit a few too many times. Like
that's it. Don't carry it, man. That's another thing. It's a good thing you mentioned that. Actually, I forgot to mention that. With the bare knuckle boxing, you need to also think about where you're placing your shots. You know what I mean? Because in glove boxing, I could punch you in the temple, I could punch you in the head, and I could just, that was a bit nippy. But you do that in bare knuckle, that's your hand shattered. And I've done it myself. I fought Johnny Lawson on my second fight, and you should check out his fights. And he's an Irish lad, very, very good fighter. And I hit him with a right hand. I've never hit any fucker this hard in my life. And I felt my hand break on his cheekbone, and the pain just, and it went right up to my shoulder. And I knew instantly that, right, I've got a broken hand. And he just fucking looked at me and was like, no. And just kept on trudging forward, and I was like, shit. You know
this is going to get interesting.
He's one tough guy, man. He's actually got a fight coming up in March as well. He's a really good fighter, man. Yeah. That's the difference. Placing your shots, you need to be smart, you know, because once these break, man, you're literally you're on the red line zone right there, man.
I want to take you back just before you do get into the ring, like the hours before, the day before. How do you prepare yourself mentally for that? What do you normally do?
Well, to be honest, I'm quite nonchalant up until the day of the fight, because it doesn't really hit me, man. But then the morning, I don't suffer from anxiety at all, but the morning of the fight, I'm fucking shiting myself. Absolutely shiting myself. You know what I mean? And you could ask my coach, Wayne Morley. I'm sitting there in the back door changing room, just like, Wayne, I can't do this, mate. I'm done. This is my last fight. I'm fucking done. I'm going to take up fucking darts or something. Because the fear, and then when he gets to warm me up, just before the fight, and your legs and your arms just feel like dead weight. It is like it's like when you're deploying, it's when you're about to deploy an op, you know, and you're in the fucking fear. But as soon as the crack in the FUD, and as soon as you take that first dig, it all just clicks, and you're just like, right, I'm fucking Superman. I can take anything here. Let's go. But I get quite scared, because at the end of it, I'm not scared of losing. I'm not scared of getting beat. I'm not scared of a fight. It's just the fear of no trying my hardest, if you know what I mean. Like, I've always prided myself on I'm going to win the fight, or I'm going to get fucking carried out on a stretcher, or I'm exhausted. I give absolutely fucking everything, and it's the fear of not doing myself proud that scares me. The thought of letting myself down, letting people down, and just not fighting as hard as I can. I don't care about getting knocked out, because you don't realise it's going to happen. You're out. You know what I mean? It's the fact that it's the fear of failure. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I just fucking hate not doing my best. You know what I mean? Even if I get knocked out, even if I lose, at least I tried my best. You know. But it's the fear of not.
No one can ever say anything. Like I said, anyone who gets into a ring, utmost respect. As long as you leave everything you've got in the ring.
Yeah,
that's what it's about, isn't it? Oh, mate.
Oh, definitely. As long as I leave that ring absolutely exhausted, then I know I've done the right thing, you know.
Right. Happy days. Have you got a message? A lot of veterans are going through a hard time from all the services at the moment because of COVID and lockdown and a lot of other issues as well. Have you got a message to any veterans out there at the moment?
Contact somebody, 100%. Contact someone, reach out. That's the biggest one, man. You're not alone, man. Like thousands of us suffer on a daily basis, especially with this COVID. Not just necessarily servicemen, but I mean, reach out to somebody and just think every day. I've always told myself this, and I'll tell everyone this: every day is a new day. As bad as it fucking seems today, man, tomorrow is a fucking new day, man. 100%. Just reach out, and tomorrow is going to be a better day, you know.
Absolutely, completely agree with you there, Tony, on everything you've just said. If there's veterans out there going through a hard time, pick up the dog and bone to another veteran, 100%. A friend, someone you know, have a chat. A problem shared is a problem halved. A lot of us have been through hard times. Have a chat with some of the boys who you know, or the ladies you know. Have a chat. It helps. Also, don't be cooped up in your flat or your house all the time. Get your boots on, get your trainers, your jacket on, go for a walk in the countryside, in the local parks. A bit of fresh air does you the world of good. Tony, would you like to say something about that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, for me, it's fitness and routine, and it saved my life, man. It sorted me right out. All you need to do is go out and get a wee natural high, man. Get away from the booze, get away from anything that you're suffering from, and get some endorphins pumping around your body, man. And that's a big one. I've worked with a lot of ex-veterans before with Armed Forces Network, and structure and that military routine is what helps us thrive. But you just need to do it in a positive way, you know. Fitness, routine, and that. 100%. Just get out there, man. Get some help. And go for a wee run, man. Clear your head. I found that.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. Hated it in the army, but as soon as I got out, man, it fucking does a business.
Exactly. Everyone hates doing fitness, but when you've done it, you look back and think, I feel better now.
Definitely, man. 100%.
Absolutely. Right, Tony, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been
a pleasure, man. Thank you.
It's been emotional as well. And I hope the viewers have had a little bit of an insight into BKB, into yourself as well. You've started your career. You've already done extraordinary things in it. I've got a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot more of you as well in the future.
100%, man.
Definitely. Thank you so much for coming onto the show, mate. Would you like to say anything else?
No, just thank you to yourself for inviting me, man, giving this platform to talk to people, man. It's been an honour, and it's an honour to speak to yourself for now, man. And also, just thanks to BKB and all my friends and family, man, for helping me through everything. And happy days.
Awesome. Tony, you are a humble guy, and you're one hell of a fighter. So I recommend if you want to see this gentleman in the ring and what he does, go on YouTube and have a look. You will not be disappointed. I guarantee that. Okay, I'm going to close down the show now. Tony, if you can stay on the line for two minutes. Everybody else, thank you so much for watching the Patriot Show. Hope you've enjoyed it. And obviously, hope you picked up a couple of little tips on there from mental health and for training as well. Please stay tuned for an extra couple of minutes at the end of the show, and you'll see some trailers and videos of veteran-owned businesses and companies, both in the United States and across the United Kingdom. Again, thank you for watching the Patriot Show. Stay tuned. See you later.
See ya.